Information on this live Q&A may not constitute the most up-to-date legal or other information. Viewers of this live Q&A should contact an attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular legal issue. No listener, user, or browser of the site should act or refrain from acting on the basis of information on this live Q&A without first seeking legal advice from counsel in the relevant jurisdiction. Only an individual attorney can provide assurances that the information contained herein and your interpretation of it is applicable or appropriate to your particular situation. Use of and access to this live Q&A or any of the links or resources contained within the site does not create an attorney-client relationship between the listener, user, or browser, a website, authors, contributors, contributing law firms, or committee members and their respective employers. The views expressed at or through this live Q&A are those of the individual inquirer and their individual capacities only, and the law office of Legal Morse. All liability with respect to actions taken or not taken based on the contents of this live Q&A are hereby expressly disclaimed. The content on this posting is provided as is. No representations are made. The content is error-free.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
So good. How are you today, Patricio?
I am super. Crappy weather, but oh my God, literally it was just raining like 5 minutes ago and the sun is out.
Looks pretty sunny to me.
It does. It looks way better than it did earlier today.
I know.
So what's new in your world? Tell me, how's your week been?
It's been very good. We're working through some cases, had some good wins this week.
Oh my God, yes.
So, yeah, some cases that really needed some creative lawyering, if you will, and we got some stuff done. So that was really exciting. That made my week.
I feel like we got to get you like one of those bells that they have at car dealerships to just ring it when like I gave it to that guy.
Yeah, right.
I watched my language right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's pull this up.
So yeah, that was good this week. I loved it.
Any plans for the weekend coming up?
No, I don't think we have anything specific planned. I try to really relax and unwind, and I find that if I fill my weekend with a lot of plans, I feel just as busy as my week. So sometimes I try to chill. Also, I kind of find going out right now a little annoying,
Yes.
And not in the way that I'm like mad they're doing it, but in a way that I'm like, if we should all be social distancing and we're putting these kinds of restrictions in place. Okay, I get it. Let's do that. Like, let me, go out less and let me make sure that I keep reducing that kind of exposure,
I'm not gonna lie, I have been going out, some local watering holes here in downtown Orlando, and last night, not to take up too much time, I went with a couple friends to a karaoke bar, and before I knew it, it was already 2 a.m. and I'm trying to get to my car that's parked here at the office, but my keys were in my friend's car. So he's doing the drunk walk of talking to everyone on that path to the car. And at one point I turn around and I scream his name to get his attention. I think he realized right then and there, like, uh-oh, yeah, I should step up and get out of here.
Right.
But as we're walking downtown, it literally felt like a weekend, like a Friday or a Saturday, because there were so many people out. And
everybody's getting excited and trying to.
And I mean, I hate to say, the news is showing that the numbers are going up, but is there? Do you think like that they might do a lockdown again?
I don't know. I'm glad that I'm not in charge of that, because I think no matter what the decision is, it's the wrong decision, right? So I'm glad I'm not one of the people in charge of that. But I think that I don't know. I don't think they'll do another shutdown. I don't think that they could get us all to be willing to do another shutdown.
Like, here we go again.
Right. I don't think they'll have compliance again, and I don't think it will be as globally adopted. I think, we were trying to flatten the curve and reduce it and figure out what it was. And I think the perspective is, I'm not saying this is my perspective, but I think at this time, the perspective is, now that we know what this illness is like and what it is, and people aren't, dropping like flies, or maybe because everyone doesn't die from it. Maybe they feel as though it's an equal risk as the flu. Maybe they feel like the numbers didn't overburden us so much, or maybe we flattened the curve enough that people know, have a little bit better of an idea of when they're being exposed. I don't know, maybe that's the thought, but I think they'll have a real hard time getting people to be willing to comply with it.
Yeah, no, and there was a photo I saw over the weekend of the line of people at Volcano Bay at Universal. And it just like the Universal was expressing, oh, we're doing our social distancing, we're making sure every precaution is taken. But then you look at a photo of literally people just like scrunched up like sardines in line to get on a water ride. And my personal convictions, I love theme parks, but I don't plan on going to the theme park probably within a year, or if there's a vaccine or like this is under control. I'm sorry, I'm not going to Horror Nights this year. I'm not going to what's that thing at Epcot?
Food and Wine Festival.
Food and Wine Festival. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's still, but the corona will still be out there, Marcos.
Ever vigilant.
Oh, but long story short, we're literally at 10 yards from the car, and he looks at me. He's like, "Oh, I think I left my car unlocked." Yeah.
How's your mom?
She, thank you for asking. She got released today. She's going back she's not going back to the nursing home. She's going to an assisted living place because she still needs respiratory therapy. So she hasn't beaten the virus because she's still testing positive. So it's kind of like you're getting along with that bad roommate for the moment until you're able to kick them out. But, doctor told me that once she gets situated in the new place, that they'll set up a call for her and I to talk, because we haven't talked in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
It's been crazy emotions and dealing with family, and now everyone wants to find out what's going on. Not like that, but I'm just saying there have been issues beforehand with family where, oh, now you want to care.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not being petty.
Right.
Not being petty.
If it was the flu, you wouldn't have cared.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's wild.
So you ready to jump into the first one?
I guess so.
All right, let's do it. My alimony was established by the court about 5 years ago. Recently, I found out that my ex-husband is getting paid a huge amount under the table. Am I able to get an adjustment to my alimony?
Maybe. Depends on what your final judgment says, if it's modifiable or not, and really what it was based on. And I know that you found out he's getting a huge amount under the table, but how do you plan on proving it? There's your hurdle, and that's expensive. And is the juice worth the squeeze?
Now, you said that it depends on the language of the final judgment. Are there final judgments that just make it that the alimony will stay like this forever?
Yeah, non-modifiable.
Really? So even if he loses his job, even if he wins the lottery, it's not going to fluctuate if that language is in the final judgment.
Right, but it goes the same, right? If he knows his income is going to steadily increase over the years, he protects himself from increasing his income.
Okay. Now, is that normally like an option for final judgment, or is it just?
No, that's a harder one to meet, a non-modifiable.
And
mostly it happens by agreement.
Okay. All right. So both parties have to agree on that one.
Yeah. I think that happens more often. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it happens more by agreement.
Okay. Dang, I wish if God forbid I get to that point, yeah, I want that in there. Not saying that future wife, I'm sorry if I said that. I'm sorry if I offend you, but
no, you're gonna have a prenup. It'll be fine.
I can't wait to see the prenup you make for me. All right. Thank you for the question. The next one coming up is ex-mother-in-law tested positive for COVID. Oh, I'm so sorry. About 4 weeks ago. My ex and the kids have been staying in a hotel since she lives with them. She refuses to have the kids stay with me. Do I have options?
Yeah.
So in these situations where
no. Yeah, you do. She's in contempt. You get to see your kids. The courts have been pretty clear that they don't want to be suspending time sharing for the coronavirus. That mistake happened a couple of times with some judges, and our courts your time sharing arrangements should be happening.
So I with this one, let's say for example, because her mom is positive, she's at home, and she's staying in the hotel just as a precaution. Would it be easier for the kids to stay with the father? during those times, or?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's real. Hotspot in.
Oh wait.
Oh, are we back?
We're back.
Yeah. The most important things while we were out, so too bad.
And that was some raunchy stuff, Aaron.
Just kidding. I don't think you have a great colorable argument to believe that the children should stay with you and not with mom because she's in a hotel. She's kind of trying to do her best for protecting the children, but she definitely doesn't have a really good claim that you shouldn't have time sharing because her mother has the coronavirus, which, like, what a leap of logic. Like, what kind of logical what the F is that? So, you need to speak to an attorney and figure out what your options are.
Thank you so much for the question. The next one coming up is, my wife is stationed overseas and has asked me to begin the divorce process. Am I able to file on her behalf if she wants to be the petitioner?
Why would you want to do that? That's just making shit so much more complicated.
How so?
Because why wouldn't you just be the petitioner and allow her to respond? There is no benefit to being the petitioner or the respondent.
So regardless of the fact if they both want the divorce, it just wouldn't matter who's on.
Right. So you're really.
But but if she requested it and she was pushing for it, could he file the divorce on her behalf?
That's so stupid.
I know.
No, you really can't. You can't. But we have an electronic filing system. So why don't you have your wife call an attorney? And we can send her all the paperwork to get it done. And since we e-file it and handle most of everything via email, have your wife just call the attorney and do it. Or why don't you just file and she can answer? And if you guys have a full agreement, come to an agreement. And, we have certain counties where they'll allow you to mail in your divorce.
So like you said earlier, there's no benefit to being the petitioner or being the respondent in a divorce.
No fault divorce date.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much for the question. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go. For the past year, I've begun to question that the child my girlfriend and I is actually mine. If I'm able to get a DNA test done and it shows that I am not the father, can I have my name removed from the birth certificate?
Yes.
So you can actually amend a birth certificate?
Mm-hmm.
What are the limitations on that?
You can amend a birth certificate to add a father. You can amend a birth certificate to remove a father.
Okay.
So you would do a petition to de-establish paternity, get removed from the birth certificate,
mm-hmm.
and probably break up with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I would get the DNA test. They have them at Walgreens if you're really concerned.
And if the DNA test shows that he's not the father, well, I just feel like.
Yeah.
It shows that he's not the father, and he sidestep and leave. She can't do anything to hold him, it's an obligation with the child, right?
No.
So he can just get off scot-free. Okay.
Well, do the petition to de-establish paternity so that you can amend the birth certificate so that you're removed, and she couldn't, that presumption is there that you're the father. She probably could file a petition from the Department of Revenue to get your child support, especially if you're on the birth certificate. But so de-establish that ASAP.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the question. Next one coming up. Where'd it go? Here it is. My ex-husband is now a soy boy vegan. Our son has grown up eating all sorts of food. Can he force him to drink soy milk? I don't want my son to be a soy boy like him. I'm sorry to the person who said that question, but What's a soy boy?
Well, soy facilitates estrogen, in my understanding, not a doctor, so don't quote me on that. And oftentimes, if males consume a lot of soy, it causes them to be in a position where they have it's like having feminine hormones.
Okay.
So a soy boy is a derogatory term for men who people consider to be effeminate. So I would recommend not calling your son a soy boy because that's insulting as fuck. But your husband, I don't like, it's not that big of a deal. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. And if you guys have shared time sharing, he's not going to consume exclusively soy milk. If you're concerned about it, bring him to the doctor. I don't, talk to a nutritionist. I don't know, but drinking soy milk is so non-issue.
I've never had soy milk. I've always been a red cap guy. I drink whole milk.
I like almond milk. That's my favorite.
Never had the almond milk. I can't stand 2% milk. Fat-free milk is an abomination to milk, and I just prefer whole milk. I've always called it red milk since I was a kid.
Yeah. So I don't know, feed your son the food you think is the right parenting choice in your house and let your husband do the same. Unless your son becomes malnutritioned, then let's have another conversation. But if he believes being vegan is what, let him, like, it's not that big of a deal.
I feel like in this one it depends, right? Or no?
Yeah, like this is a nutrition question. No, ultimately the family law court is not going to do anything about the fact that your husband has your son drinking soy milk. So if you, from a legal standpoint, simmer down now. But from a human being standpoint, it's probably not that big of a deal.
I really don't see that big of a deal. I really don't.
Talk to a nutritionist if you're concerned. See if his doctor has a concern.
We got a comment.
Yeah.
Whole milk is great for brain development.
Yeah, but do you need whole milk when you're 14, right?
I've always been told, milk does the body good, milk for your bones, source of calcium, blah blah blah.
I don't have any problem with cow's milk.
I like my red milk.
I like almond milk for the taste, but cow's milk I'm okay with. I don't milk discriminate.
Thank you so much for the question. The next one, where'd it go? Because I saw this one right here, and I think you're gonna laugh. Where did it?
Keep feeding breast milk. Yeah, till they're 18. Breast milk.
Here you go. I recently modified my parenting plan due to work and travel, but right now I need your opinion. I found out that my ex's boyfriend has a warrant out of New York. Please tell me to be petty.
So you modified your parenting plan due to work and travel, but your ex-boyfriend has a warrant out of New York.
I think what he's saying that his the kid's mother, her boyfriend, has a warrant.
My ex's boyfriend has a warrant. Please tell me to be petty. I mean, what's a warrant for? I don't know. Ask New York if they extradite because you know where he is. I don't know. That's how to be petty.
Gabby, does New York extradite?
I believe they do. It depends on what it's for, right? They're probably not going to extradite for parking tickets.
Well, of course not.
But they'll probably extradite for murder. So find out what that is and let him know where he is and where he'll be staying. That's the petty thing to do. But again, figure out what it's for. Maybe pull his criminal record. Depending on how bad his criminal record is, maybe we should make a decision on instead of being petty, keeping your child safe, right? That's the idea. But again, if he has a warrant for, stealing the medication that his sick mother needed.
Thank you so much for that. So you're telling so not to be petty, but to be smart with the safety of his children.
Yeah, always. That is always my advice.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right. Coming up, If one of my relatives gave money to me rather than both my spouse and I, will we have to split the money if we get divorced?
Maybe. If you commingle it, yes, definitely. Depending on what it was given to you for, that might be it as well. If it was inheritance, no.
So inheritance never gets split with the spouse.
Not. I mean, it might if you commingle it.
Okay. All right. You got to remove the
very few nevers in the law.
Ooh, excuse me.
I was like, that wasn't that shocking of a statement.
Thank you so much for the question. Next one. Will the court consider the fact that my ex cheated on me in deciding whether or not I have to pay spousal support?
It depends. Did they dissipate assets with their affair? But it's unlikely to be considered in any way other than that.
So when would what's the word? Unfaithfulness, or what's the proper term for it? Fidelity?
Yeah, infidelity.
Infidelity.
And a paramour.
When would that be considered like a pivotal in regards to support?
If you dissipate marital funds, that goes to equitable distribution, that you can get it back. You know, and depending on how like egregious the affair was, if she hooked up with her coworker one time after happy hour, the court's going to be like, really, buddy? Are you this hurt? Get over it. But, so no, she'll probably still get some alimony.
Sorry, buddy.
Get that prenup.
Let's see. It's funny you said affair in that, because the next question involves that. I had an affair with a coworker and I ended up pregnant. To be honest, I'm not sure who the father is.
Shut up. Be quiet.
Husband and I have spoken about divorce and maybe filing soon. What can happen if the child isn't his?
He won't have to pay child support for it.
Okay.
He'll deestablish paternity. So if he questions it, he'll ask for a paternity test. It will likely get ordered, so you should disagree in the first place. And then if it is not biologically his child, the court will order that he would not be obligated to that child and de-establish paternity in that circumstance.
Okay. So they wouldn't fall on her, like it wouldn't hurt her in the divorce process if the child wasn't his.
No. But if he bonded with that child and he loves that child and he's like, I don't know if this child, this has happened, right? I'm not sure if this child is mine, but I don't want to know. I love him. He's wonderful. I want rights to him, you know, and, you know, people kind of turn a blind eye. The law does support that a child born into an intact marriage is a child of the marriage, and they don't make every child get DNA tests. So if you are both comfortable with the fact that someone else is the biological sperm donor for this child, and both of you are comfortable with that, the court is not going to ask you to be uncomfortable with it.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. Let's get that one out of the way. And we're down to our last four, and I do have some cool stuff for you for Aaron Reacts.
Woo-hoo.
The next question is, over the past 5 months, our 12-year-old has gone up almost 25 pounds, and not in a good way.
Hey
Is there anything I can do if her mother is not providing proper nutrition? Their family has a bad medical history.
Yeah, you know what you could do during your time sharing? How about you place a focus on being active and proper nutrition? How about you teach your 12-year-old to become the kind of child who makes decisions for themselves? Because at 12 years old, they're not going to, you know, you're not going to feed them what they don't want to eat. They're a little bit old for that, right? So what you can do is maybe you try to you're going to need to do this in a positive way, or you're a jackass. So you'll find a positive way to give him a good relationship with food and with exercise and being active. So maybe you make it your activity to go on hikes, or maybe you play basketball, or maybe you guys learn how to cook together. Maybe if he can learn how to cook and cook his own meals, he could cook for the family, right? So maybe turn this into a positive education point. But gaining 25 pounds in and of itself and going, it's because you're fat, babe. You know, I don't, the court doesn't care enough about these little details, right? It's, I know you think that you're important, and you are, but not that important.
Thank you so much. All right, the next one is, next year my son wants to go to public school for football, meaning I won't have to pay tuition. Will this affect the amount of child support what I already received from his father?
Well, was tuition included in your child support calculation? Typically, that's not a line item. Did you deviate from child support because of the tuition payments? So maybe, but maybe not. Usually tuition is an optional thing because you can go to school for free. So why would we obligate the children to tuition, or a parent? But if you can't, if it's not in your final judgment, no, it's not going to.
Okay, thank you so much.
This just in.
Literally.
Oh. Face
no.
mask will be, this comes directly from, this is from the mayor's office, right?
No. The mayor of the Orange County.
Orange
Orange
County.
County has a mayor, right?
Yeah, Mayor Jerry Demings announced today face masks will be required in Orange County and Orlando starting at 12:01 a.m. Saturday. Wow. Okay. Well, luckily I have a surplus of masks, and the day that I'm moving is the day that I have to wear a mask. Thank you so much, Mayor Demings. I appreciate you.
Aaron, do you have a mask?
Of course. I have.
Tell the people. I love it. It's great.
I have a few cloth ones.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I have a few cloth ones, so that'll be fine. But I wonder how they'll enforce it, and what if you don't?
Yeah.
Whenever someone says you like must, you shall, oftentimes my mind goes immediately to like, and what if I don't? How are you gonna enforce it?
I now want to stretch out my cosplay skills and just make something cool. Because like I can make a mask. I've done cosplay for like 10 years now, and
Yeah, like I think people are gonna start really getting creative on what the masks are, right? I think the Joker one would be really cool.
that is a cool one. I modified my Bane mask that I had to have the filter inside, so it looks creepy as hell, but I'm actually protecting myself and you all at the same time.
That's cool.
Thank you so much for the question. We're down to our last two, and the next one is, our parenting plan has the kids with me this weekend for Father's Day. However, with the rotation of the weeks this year, it's her weekend. How can I shut her up?
Father's Day, father. So that's really all you need to say. Also, many parenting plans say that holiday time trumps regular time, and you don't have to trade for it. So if it were her Christmas, I'm pretty sure she would be like, yeah, I don't care that it's your weekend.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's Christmas. He says, I have Christmas on odd years. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know.
So
How can you
normal
shut her
parenting-
up? Like, I don't know how you can control her. Just do the thing or hold her in contempt.
So normally when parenting plans are established, the language should be clear on there, right?
No,
No?
I just add it because people have this conversation.
Then
Right.
you want to avoid conversations like
yeah,
this.
I think it's stupid. and honestly, like, you know, I really don't like the kind of minor issues that, you know, he was 30 minutes late, or, you know, exchanging about a day or two here. Like, nobody's life changes this way, right? Nobody's made better off for this.
All right.
So let's just go pick up your kids.
All right, and now we are down to our last question of the day, and this one is: I've been a stay-at-home wife for our whole marriage, 6 years. I finally have proof that my husband has been with another woman. What can happen if I want a divorce? There's property bought during the marriage.
what can happen if you want a divorce.
Yeah.
It's a no-fault divorce state, so no one cares that he had an affair unless he spent money on it.
So being able to show proof that he used marital funds.
Dissipated funds, right? Going out a dinner or two, you didn't dissipate marital funds.
Does it depend on the amount of marital funds that are used?
Right, like if he cashes out 50% of his retirement to buy her a car, yeah.
So, let's say for example, he just took her out to 2 dinners. Would that be enough ground for divorce? Or?
No, not enough ground. You don't need grounds for a divorce.
Okay.
Divorce is a no fault divorce state. You can have a divorce if you want it.
So right here for her,
the grounds for your divorce are I want
it. All right, thank you so much for the questions today, guys. And we have, for Aaron Reacts, we have 3 things. We have a story, we have a meme, and we have a photo. Today, I saw a photo that, once again, I'm like, why is this going on? Why is this happening? And I can't wait to show you, Aaron, because I can't wait to see your reaction. And where is this application window? Here we go. A man in Baltimore, a white male from Baltimore, has decided to get a tattoo of Will Smith on his face. What are your thoughts on the image that's in front of you right now?
First of all, it's hideous. And Will Smith is a national treasure.
He is.
I feel, is that real? Like, I feel like this was so poorly done. Like, where is his actual mouth?
So I believe it's his lips.
His lips.
Let me zoom in on my part. So
I don't get it.
His I can see where his eyes are. And
right. Thank you.
No, wait a second.
I think his mouth is at the curl of the hand.
Oh my God, I think you're right. Yeah. So his eyes are where his eyes are, right?
Right.
I'm not.
Right. Like, this almost looks like one of those. Have you ever seen those makeup tutorials where they do something really creative?
Yeah.
As opposed to a tattoo. Also, I mean, he really should be giving credit to his tattoo artist because
that's a legit
tattoo. Like, I don't know where his mouth is. Was he arrested? Was he arrested for having someone else's face on it?
I don't think so. I mean, can you be arrested for tattooing someone's face on your face?
Your face is your trademark. Like, you get to own your likeness.
So if I were to say tattoo Vince Vaughn's face on my face, could I get in trouble for that?
You'd get fired.
I take it you're not a Vince Vaughn fan?
I don't really think you need someone else's face tattooed on you. I listen. This is fucked up.
It is, right?
Yeah, people are weird. And why? Did this happen in Florida?
No. For once, this did not happen.
Not Florida man. All right, I'm actually just happy about that. That it's not Florida man.
So no, this actually happened in Baltimore. I was trying to find more details on this story, but yeah, a white male in Baltimore has decided to tattoo Will Smith's face on his face, and I don't know if he's trying to send a message or make a statement, but
get it off the screen.
Yeah,
this takes blackface to a new level. Such a fun.
All right, so let me clear this up on this side before I put up on the story. And let me refresh this right here. Trying to get the little ad out of the way. There we go.
man away. This man does not make good decisions for children. That was unsafe, was irresponsible, and you took the life of a 12-year-old in your hands for a purpose of being cool.
Jupiter, Florida is where it happened.
I hope the dad, calls me or something, and we use this as exhibit 1 to also, Mom, are you dumb enough to stay in a relationship with him?
There have been some dumb moms out there, with all due respect. Let me get this.
Like, that man needs to be dumped, and I that you also beat his ass.
I'm not one for violence. I try to avoid violence confrontation as much as possible. I'm very olive branch. But there are just some people out there that, I hate to say it, deserve a good smack or a good beating.
Yeah.
Of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But
when it comes to my son,
you getting beaten.
I ain't playing. That's wildly inappropriate. So,
all right.
Florida man's at it again.
All right, so you ready for the video?
I suppose so.
Okay, so this one right here, brought to you by the News Junkie, and let me see do you see the screen right now?
I do.
Okay, so you see the circle and the car, right?
Yeah.
Okay, watch what happens.
Oh.
That's insane, right?
That looks like, he walked away?
She survived.
You know what that smells like? Do you smell that? It smells like a lawsuit.
You actually have me smelling.
Lawsuit.
I mean, you got two companies, right? Well, the truck behind 100% at fault. The truck in front, nothing.
Sue the truck behind.
Sue the truck behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna play that one more time because that is thankfully she survived. But look at the impact of the car into the cement mixer.
How incredibly fucking
crazy shit. But luckily she.
Speaking of someone who needs their ass beat.
Oh man,
street justice.
So with everything that we've talked about tonight, with the video, stories, and photo, anything grinding your gears this week?
You know what really grinds my gears? Really grinds my gears. I don't like when I hear that children are being abused.
Oh, that's bad.
So that's obviously a bad one, right? Obviously, I stand up for that. I had to make some difficult decisions and make some reports this week, and I did. And I made sure that I did it with my name attached to it because I do not want my client accused of making this call, although I felt like it was absolutely imperative. I didn't want to put her in that position in the court for opposing counsel to say, you just called, protective services for an advantage in the divorce. So I already know that I'm going to move forward and go, I called. I heard the facts, and I think you needed to be investigated. So.
But it shouldn't fall under your ethics with the fact that you're hired as counsel to service your client and advise your client, which is what's best for their case, right?
I mean, that I don't take the perspective that this call was best for her case. I took the perspective that these children need to be protected.
Okay.
And I know that we're doing our part on the case to make sure these children are protected, right? We're doing it that way and making sure that we prove that. But when I heard what these circumstances were, I saw very specific evidence and things along those lines. I went, I can't turn a blind eye to this.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly obligated to make sure that I bring this, to the court's attention because
you were actually keeping the best interests of the child in mind when you did this, right?
Right. I heard what happened. I'm like, oh, I can't ignore this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, lead these children back into the lions.
It's not the action you want, it's the action you needed.
Batman. Our client is excellent, and she is really trying with this, and is an example of domestic violence and the gaslighting and the harm that it does to people who are narcissists, right? So it had to happen, so I can't ignore it, right?
No, of course not. And
so
see
on the phone with that all day.
See something, say something.
I agree. So that one grinds my gears. So probably more so what grinds my gears is that the attorney on the other side, I can already predict this argument, right? You're just using it for that one grinds my gears, right? Or when attorneys aren't capable of separating their personal feelings or this opinion that the case is very personal with the fact that they have to do a job and represent their client. I want to speak positively about a relationship I have with another attorney who, I guess this particular attorney, I will not say if it's a male or female, I'm going to keep it real vague. My understanding is that this attorney has some kind of a reputation for being, a real hard ass, and they have a reputation for, winning, being aggressive, doing whatever they have to do. I have a great relationship with this particular attorney, and we are very professional. We very much understand the perspectives of our clients, and we, we go, he has a claim against my client that he's trying to say, and he goes, I absolutely know that your client's response to that is going to be, it's untrue. He said, so, let's agree to disagree and find our way in the middle, and, let's bring it in front of the judge to decide, because our clients feel very differently, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we are, and he's really understanding, and it's that my client is really understanding and a really great client, and knows that my relationship with the other attorney is not, it's like, he was fearful at first of who this attorney was. And then I was like, nah, I know this person, believe me, it's going to be okay.
So I'm sure with being an attorney and dealing with once in a while having a case against a colleague, how do you deal with like the friendship and everything that you guys have already established to dealing with a case at that point? Like how does that pan out?
So here's another example, and that's not this case that I'm talking about, but another example with another colleague that I had, and this case is long since over, right? The accusation was that my client was an alcoholic. Okay. And enough of those that this is really big. The accusation is that my client was an alcoholic. Obviously, our position is that he's a hardworking professional. And, when I had the conversation with the attorney, he basically said, of course, I've never known an alcoholic to go, you know what, now that you mention it, I sure am a drunk and I don't deserve to have my kids, right? So he went, of course, my client feels that this is very clear. She has other people who have observed this happening, and, this is the position we have to take. So my response isn't, you're a jackass, your client's a liar. I don't need to say that. I don't prove anyone anything. I didn't help my client with having that conversation. That kind of an argument over the phone would get me nowhere. Like what it would inflame the rage of the other side. Mm-hmm. So I go, yeah, you're right. He does disagree. These are the reasons he disagrees, right? He's a professional. He's an athlete. He's, whatever, a public figure, any number of things why this alcoholism, it really isn't true, and it doesn't. I think your client's claim is baseless. So we'll agree to disagree and say, okay, well, how about file what motions you think you need to file, and I won't stop you from setting them for hearing. We'll prepare our defense, and that's that.
That's that. Thank you so much, Attorney Morse, for your time, your knowledge. You were so real spitting today. I love it.
Real what?
You were really spitting today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anything you want to close off on, or anything you want to say to the people before we head out?
Any PSAs we should make? I'm always on my soapbox about
I know.
some nonsense.
It's been a long week this week, and
I
just
know.
I'm excited for the weekend because I'm moving.
Yeah,
And-
finally. That's been taking a while.
I know. I just had to do it on my own. I was kind of waiting on someone, and it was, I don't want to say like they were giving me the runaround, but they were giving me the runaround. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Put my eggs in the basket, and I'm just moving out now. And it's only temporary to where I'm moving until my place is actually ready here in downtown by late July, early August. So, yeah, I'm just happy that it's finally happening.
Yes. My son is in camp.
Oh.
Thank God. No, he is a big homebody. He likes being home. So the coronavirus pandemic wasn't that bad for us. So, but it is nice that he gets to be active, get out, socialize, etc. because he had gone a few months without it. Sitting in the house and playing on his phone all day.
But all right, thank you so much, and y'all have a great day. We'll see you guys next
Keep
week.
those questions coming.